Stop bothering in front of the store. Those are God's people, not the people that can dress up, drive their pretty cars, go listen to a man in a nice suit, give this nice man money, and the door closed when everybody leaves, and you don't see these people nowhere visible in the community, feeding, clothing, and sheltering. Real churches don't close. Real churches are open 24/7. You can go sleep on the bench. You can go use the bathroom. You can go get something to eat. That's why the word of God says you're supposed to bring your tithes to the storehouse. It's the storehouse. Your tithes is not money. The preacher wants the money. God wants you to come store things up in here. Wheat, grain, blankets, pillowcases, beanie hats, diapers, tampons, canned goods. You come store it here to come out and feed the people.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Now, can somebody tell me what's wrong with Pastor Bishop Marvin Winans? It was a lady that came up in his church to sow a seed, and she sowed a seed of $1,000 plus $239. She came to the front of the congregation and said her name so proudly and said she was sowing a seed of $1,000 plus I think $239, and she had her son right beside her. When she came before Bishop Pastor Marvin Winans, he said, quote unquote, that ain't what I asked you for. She was like, huh?
The news, Bishop Marvin Winans is in hot water after criticizing a woman's measly $1,200 donation to the church. So what's the latest on this story? Let's get into it. So let's break it down. In this video that has now gone viral, a woman is seen standing at the altar in front of Bishop Marvin Winans in church by sowing the seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participate. So she hands over the envelopes, and at this point the bishop looks at her and he says, that's only $1,200. She then tells the man that she's working on the other $800 to bring the donation up to $2,000, which is what he was expecting. Now people on the internet, of course, are not having it, saying things like, this pimping, not preaching, get away from this church.
Money is the root of all evil. I love money, you know. I know what to do with it.
And other people aren't having it either, saying for you, Bishop Winans, to get up in that funky pinstripe suit and tell her that wasn't enough is crazy, because $1,200 in this economy, Pastor Winans, Bishop Winans, whatever you call yourself, is a lot of money.
God don't live in no church. Nowhere in the Bible, and I read it 17 times, nowhere in it does it say, build me a house on 5th and nowhere.
You may have noticed that construction is finally resuming on the new Perfecting Church right on Woodward and 7 Mile. Well, tonight, Pastor Winans also gave me an update on that project, nearly 20 years in the making.
Only like stained glass windows. So I don't want nobody looking in on the hustle. I mean the truth. I want hard wooden benches in there, because I don't want nobody comfortable.
The church got in bed with the state because church and state are separate. When our state gave our church a 501c3, a tax exempt status, now they're in the bed together. A church don't need a tax exempt status. So that's why you see a lot of black people who get nonprofits end up in prison, because they don't know this. They don't know, nigga, you have to account and itemize if you have to be accounted for, but they go get a Cadillac. They start going out to eat. They don't know to write this up as this. I learned hanging with the white people, if you write it up as this, you can beat the radar.
I need a greasing with a perm whose neck looks like a half a pack of hot dogs, who's a silver-tongued macking mother, and he sweats before he starts talking, because he's from hell. What you gonna call him? The preacher.
Riddle me this, polite savages. Why does the church have more wealth than the congregation when the congregation's collective wealth feeds the church? It makes absolutely no sense. What's going on here? How can somebody come and give somebody over $1,000 in this economy when everything's crashing all around them? Government benefits being cut off, people suffering, people losing their jobs to AI, and this person has the gall to look this lady dead in the eye in front of all of those folks trying to embarrass her. I don't care what he says. He was trying to embarrass her. and let her know that she didn't give enough. Well, sir, if $1,200 ain't enough, then you're not enough. And I already heard the cabbage, the recovery, that, oh, she was just in a wrong line. But just imagine one crazy thing. They get so much money in this church, they have to actually organize the tithe lines or the seed lines by dollar amount. And you got the nerve to say something to this lady? Damn.
So this wasn't created to really help you. That's why the people who got it, that's really getting the money, they're not visible, really helping. And the people that's really helping don't get the money because they'll solve the problem.
Now, y'all know I've been one that's been really against a lot of moves of the black church, because the black church has been siphoning a lot of funding out of the black community, and there's nothing to show for it. Nothing at all. Now, you have a pastor, Marvin Winans, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And he was, you know, I know everybody talk about that video with Umar when the lady gave him, I think she gave him $10. And he said, yeah, sister, I appreciate it, but next time make it 20.
Before I continue with my message, thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister.
He was like, I asked you for $1,000 plus $1,000. Now this lady has just came to the front of the church and sold a seed of $1,000 plus $239 with everything going on in the world. She might be a single mother, what have you, but he steadily said that ain't what I asked you for. And what got me was how the congregation started laughing. If it was so funny, I want to say to you, Pastor Bishop Marvin Winans, I would have been laughing too, but you know why I would have been laughing at you? I would have been laughing when the devil got in that lady and she snatched that money out your hand and told you to kiss her black ass. That's what I would have laughed at.
Church, I grew up in a church. You know, that offering plate that come around about 2-3 times now.
They said, but the Lord said, give what you can. He didn't put no number on it.
Oh no.
Where in the Bible they say? He say when you tithe.
10% of your earnings, man.
Yes.
10% of your earnings.
Now he will say in Malachi, I think it's through Malachi 3:8-11. He said, will a man rob God? He answers the question because he already know what you're going to do. He said, yeah, where would I rob you? He said, in tithe and in offering.
Ooh.
He said, bring your tithe to the storehouse and I'll open up the windows of heaven and pour you out of blessings that you will not be able to receive. That's what he said. Now, he ain't tell these jacklegs to be coming up here talking about, hey, see, what they preaching is prosperity.
Yes, sir.
Feel that Bishop Marvin Winans owes that woman an apology. Context. But I saw the extended video and I saw his instructions, and the woman did go up at the wrong time. But her heart was in the right place. We are in church. She is sowing a seed. And here's the biggest problem for me. I'm sorry, and nobody's talking about it. The fact that she stood up there with that young boy next to her, that little boy. I don't know if that was her son or who he was, but the little boy handed the bishop the envelope. And you chastised her in front of the little boy. I do not think that is right in the Church of God. And I think Bishop Winans owes the woman, Roberta, an apology. Now, I will be honest with you. I've been in church and I've seen that happen before. I don't like it. I don't think the church is the place to bring people forward that are donating at a certain amount of money, as if the person that is donating at a lower amount of money is not as important. I don't get it.
Well, I could just break it down for you. These prosperity preachers, they put a value on people based on how much money they're going to give them, and they want to bleed that rock dry. Blood from a turnip. They're not really concerned about how you're doing, because one thing I haven't heard is that these prosperity preachers, when things are really getting bad, do they open up their doors and feed the community, help the community, give back to the community. I've never heard of a prosperity preacher going broke, giving his money back to his congregation. Never heard of it, not once. And if somebody knows about it, go on and send me a wire, and I'll retract this statement. But 9 times out of 10, what they're doing is they're getting rich on top of rich. And they'll sit up and say, all the white churches, they make a lot more money than us. So what? You need to stop robbing the poorest community that you can find. I don't care, man. Somebody has to get a spine with this. And it's a cold, cold game when you go up in the Lord's pockets, but it's a colder game when you have no shame and you rob people in the name of the Lord. You dig?
There's a reason why the old school churches, you put your money in the envelope. Nobody knew how much you were giving. That was between you and the church.
You see, this is the reason why people is having trouble trusting the church right now.
Polite savages.
You don't make up for your sins in the church. You do it in the streets. You do it at home. The rest is bullshit, and you know it.
Ladies and gentlemen of polite savages, we are now about to embark on a journey sure to anger feminists and hotep hustlers and prosperities preachers alike. And no matter how many times we see it smack dab in our face, we just won't learn. We'll keep lining up, giving this money, planting them seeds, hoping it'll come back to us 10 times full. Will we ever succeed? I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired of these hotep hustlers hustling the community. But of course, the sycophantic, sympathetic simps will stand up and say, do you see the whole context? The whole context means nothing to me. Because after I seen the context, in context, I knew that I had the proper context because it's a money grab. And it's not that complex. And as always, I'm only here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as I see it. And sometimes the truth is a bitter pill, but you gotta shut up and take your medicine. Sometimes the truth is so real that these people you've been following for years have nothing to do with your prosperity, but their prosperity. And while you're sitting here struggling to pay the rent, they're struggling to fill up their bins. The struggle is different. Your struggle and their struggle isn't the same. But if this man ever had to work a hard day in his life, he would be broke, bunny ears, wondering where his money was coming from. He's been making money for so long, he doesn't even recognize the economics terror that these folks are going through day by day. AI taking jobs, programs being cut, old folks, food insecurity, all the things that the church should be willing to help with. They should be giving back to the community, but instead of giving back, they're sucking funds in to build a big new palace to collect them donations in. You dig? Let's keep it real, because even a blind man can see the deal.
Listen, man, here's the deal. Unfortunately, this happens more often than we know. This happens more often than we know, whereas people take their bill money and give it to the church. I mean, I was guilty of it. I've been guilty of. My sister and I were having this very same conversation just a couple of days ago, how we were talking about in our early 20s, we would do this. We would give our bill money to the church. And she said one time she sat there and she was like, let me see, do I tithe or do I pay my light bill? Do I tithe or do I pay my light bill? And she tithed and the light got cut off and she was sitting there in the dark.
And let's not act like this is the first time that we've seen such weird displays of entitlement, so many displays of folks holding people, so many displays of a man having to go back after something goes viral and give a full-throated explanation of what he really meant, when we can see what he meant because he did exactly what he meant to do.
Josephine King is no longer considered a member of the First African Baptist Church of Bainbridge, Georgia.
Gerald Simmons reads over the letter addressed to his aunt, 92-year-old Josephine King.
It's terrible.
The letter, signed by Senior Pastor Derek Mike, states that Ms. King has shown non-support towards the church in the areas of, quote, constant and consistent financial and physical participation.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you, I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. It's 1,000 that's watching online. See, if I get 1,000 online to give this, that's $40,000 tonight.
Hey, paper.
Listen,
I need to go into the back.
Listen. Hey, you know Marvin Sapp. Now the church. That's part of the building fund. The church need new windows.
You ain't gonna tell me how much. You're not gonna tell me how much to give. He need a Rolex. Oh, he need a jet. Oh, he need a Rolls Royce. He need a Bentley.
Yeah. Oh,
he ain't gonna have a better. He ain't gonna have. If I'm working harder, he ain't gonna have a better car than me. Not that I'm donating to.
And I just gotta tell you, I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired. I'm tired of even saying I'm sick and tired. This is the same pulpit hustling we done had our whole life. From Reverend Al Sharpton, Perm and all, to Dr. Umar Johnson. Donations forever, school opening never. The same thing is always the same thing. And we're always the first ones to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And I'm not saying other communities don't have these hustles, but what I'm saying is that when other communities catch these fools, they run them up out of the community. You ain't allowed to do nothing. As a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, you spend a whole lot of time in a jail cell. But what are we doing? We're gonna go right back to that offering plate, drop our hard-earned money in, go hungry, have a little less. Our kids don't have something that they need because we believe that we're sowing a seed. And if we're sowing so many seeds, tell me, where is the prosperity in our community? If we're sowing so many seeds, what's going on with the help that we need? If we're sowing so many seeds, why isn't our education goals being met? Because we're busy spending money over there when we should be spending money right here at home with our folks in our communities, making sure that we provide what we need to provide for. You know, free lunch was a Black Panther initiative from the community, grassroots, feeding kids, going to school. Government wasn't involved. You know why the government wasn't involved? Because like I said before, anytime somebody shows up and says, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, they're lying. And 9 times out of 10, when these prosperity pulpit pimps come here and say they're here to help you, they're not here to help you, they're here to take from you. And I don't give a damn who's offended by it, because this is the absolute truth. The integrity of that man standing behind that pulpit is the number one thing that moves that church. And if that man behind that pulpit would embarrass you in front of people, if he would have to come out and make a whole statement clarifying what he needs, if he's been building a school for 20 years, if he's been building his church for 20 years with your funds and hasn't gone out to the community himself finding ways to raise money, then this person is absolutely evil. And I don't give a damn who doesn't like it. Cry about it. And as I always say, the truth sure enough hurts. But if you scared, lace them boots up, walk a country mile, and take your trifling ass to a real church. You dig?
She was stunned. She was disappointed. She was shocked.
Simmons says his aunt was considered sick and shut in for several months, which explained her lack of attendance. He also says his aunt has gone above and beyond in the past to financially support the church.
You shouldn't chase the individuals down. You shouldn't do that, you know?
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
You're the woman in that viral video.
Right.
He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction, because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction on the lines to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
What happened to passing the plate around? What about ushers? Like, you know what I mean? Because the reality is you shouldn't make nobody line up, because you know it's a lot of old people there. If you need the money, you should have people going around collecting the money from folks.
That I belong to a church where they will come and tell, like they will come and ask you for whatever they need. Everybody sow $100 a day. If it ain't enough, we're gonna ask y'all to go back.
I don't agree with that.
And go, I've never agreed with it, but churches do that.
Then y'all show up to my church talking, I ain't got no money for tithes today, Pastor. What? You just dropped $600 on a wig, but you ain't got $6 for the Lord?
My wife know I take the tithe money down there. You don't pay the church tithe? No, hell no. The preacher go buy a Cadillac. Indian go sneak and give it to the hoes. I bypass him and take it to the hoes, because that's what he take.
What you gonna give me in my hand? Yes, this is my home. Many of you brothers and sisters didn't know that I was living so humble. I sleep up here, in this room right here.
Grandma, don't you see what's going on?
This is my vision, look at that.
Run my donations.
Thank you for watching the TIP Network. Follow us on all social media outlets and ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip? Boom, we're out.
We found true happiness.